What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Cracker Crumbs update. SJ Taz1 was wondering where Kitty was. There's Kitty. He takes weird naps. No intro on this episode because I wanted to not gonna make it a quick update, but I'm trying to fix my intro. I'm gonna make it a little shorter because it's a little too long. It's cool. It's a little too long, and again, I've said it a dozen times. I'm never happy with my intros, no matter how great I make them. I'm like, maybe I'll add this and take that away. So, who knows? Who knows? But anyway, I'm going to discuss this update's basically going to be about Spider-Man. Thanks to the Captain Cummings and Hero Hunter 81, you've basically started a war. What? Probably didn't do it on purpose, because I know you didn't do it on purpose, but yeah, a war between my friends and I about Spider-Man. The two of you. Yeah, this is fun. Captain Cummings was saying in one of his videos, he was saying that Spider-Man's become too whiny. And I was agreeing with him, and agreeing and disagreeing, because I think he has gotten a lot whinier in the newer ones, but, you know, that's just Spider-Man. But I explained it last time. My friends are telling me they're flipping out because they were watching the video. And they were saying, it's like, Spider-Man's not whiny, that's just the way Spider-Man is. You know, you're a Spider-Man hater, and, you know, I'm like, you gotta calm down. Some of my friends are very hardcore Spider-Man fans, and it's insane. And then, of course, that's where it came in with Hero Hunter 81, the discussion about the black suit. Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna put this on the video because, like I said, it's going to be somewhat of a cool discussion, but hopefully it'll prove me right and prove everyone else wrong. Yeah, let's get into this. Alright. Hero Hunter 81 has the first appearance of the black suit, which is the Amazing Spider-Man number 252, which I don't have. I have the reprint of it. I have to get the original one down the line. But this is what it looks like in a roundabout sort of way, except for the Spider-Man down there. Alright. Now, what people don't realize is everyone thinks that this is the first appearance of the black costume. And myself, I've screwed up from time to time, like, oh, here's the first appearance of the black suit, you know. Sometimes I forget, you know, because this was more popularized, I guess, as the first appearance of the black suit when it really wasn't. Because this came out before this. This came out in December of '84. And this came out, I believe, in like September or August or something like that. I can't remember. I don't really want to. Yeah, you know what? I don't know if it'll say this one, but let's take a look. Because people don't know. Let's see if it says originally. No, it's 2000. It doesn't say when it was originally made, because it's the reprint. I'll have to look it up, or you can look it up. But it came out beforehand. Basically, what happened? If you look on the thing, this is. It says, where are they now? Basically, the superheroes obviously went to the Secret War. Now, what people don't know, this is a plus of having friends that work for Marvel, who remain nameless because I'm not allowed to discuss anything, well, at least let anyone know who you know, told me these things, so, you know, I don't want them to lose their job. Alright, now, this is what people don't know, because I guess you can probably look some of this stuff up online, but who knows. I really don't remember what there was a letter that was wrote to Marvel, right before the black suit was made. They were like, you know, the writer and I forget who did it, but the writer and the creator of the black suit, you know, they were saying, this is what we want to do, we want to spice Spider-Man up a little bit. I'm giving you like the cliff notes of what the letter said, because my friend actually sent me a photo that I had to delete real quick, top secret, that was written to the editor-in-chief of Marvel at the time. Which was, I don't know if it was Stan Lee or not. But anyway, this is what we want to do with Spider-Man. We want to give him a new costume and whatever. Now, yes, like I said, this is going to get confusing pretty quick. Originally what happened is when the Secret Wars came out, the first one, number 1, they were going to stop production on Spidey. And they were going to stop production on a lot of the stuff just to focus on the Secret Wars, because they wanted to make this like a huge thing. It's from, like I said, from what I hear and the letter that was written. But then Marvel was like, you know, that's kind of stupid. You know, why would we stop production on all our major stuff just to have this one book? Like, put all our eggs in one basket in the one thing and hope that this thing sells, you know, more copies than the other stuff. So that didn't work. They were like, all right, let's just go ahead and go on. That's why in the page I showed you on here, which is Where Are the Heroes, originally the plan was they weren't going to have the books. They were going to have strictly Secret War, and that was going to be like plastered everywhere. And then Marvel, of course, quick thinking before they even messed with, you know, let's not do that. That's stupid. We're going to get killed. Now, what had happened, if you read the Secret Wars #7, which is the first appearance of the second Spider-Woman that had the black suit, it did so well that they said, you know what, we're going to give it to Spider-Man because we're gonna do this, but we're going to make it different. Now, what's funny is this is the argument where my friends come into, because everyone claims that this is the first appearance of the black suit. It's not. It's the origin of the black suit. Like I said, this came out before this. Now, the reason for originally this was supposed to come out before this. So this was originally going to be the first appearance and origin of the black suit. But there was a screw up apparently at Marvel, and they put this out first because it didn't. I don't know. This got delayed or this got whatever happened. This was ahead of schedule or whatever it was. But this originally was supposed to come out before this, but this came out instead. Other than this, so this is the first appearance of the black suit. Now, what happened with this, the way they did it was, this is supposed to be this is the first day that Spider-Man's back from the Secret Wars. Even though this was still going on, he's back already. Like, it's a completely other tale. So that's where it gets confusing. Everyone's like, oh, well, this, you know, this had to have been after this. It wasn't. It wasn't. If you're not confused enough as it is, stay tuned. I'm going to confuse you even more. So that's basically what happened. Is this originally supposed to come out, but it didn't. This came out beforehand. So this is the first appearance of the black suit. Now, what's funny is that a lot of people, my friends included, if you look at all the other titles, all the Amazing Spider-Man titles that had the suit, the black suit, it became so popular that everyone, you know, loved it so much that one of the reasons why Web of Spider-Man was kicked off and they made a #1 is because they wanted more titles that had to do with the black suit, which is pretty crazy. So, like I said, a lot of my friends are like, oh, well, the black suit originally came out in Web of Spider #1. There it is. It's on the cover. Technically, yeah, the black suit did come out in Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man #1 because it's the first one. It's the first time that the suit was in Web of Spider-Man, but it wasn't the first appearance of the black suit. Same thing with this. This was not the first appearance of the black suit. This is the whole origin of what it is and so on. Same thing with, oh man, I can't remember what it was. Amazing Spider-Man 257, I think, with Puma, where it realizes that the webbing's organic. That's a whole other story. Let's not get into that. But, yeah, so hopefully that kind of gets things going, because you can look it up, too. I mean, you can look it up on the online, which is kind of good about the internet. You can actually look crap up. But that's what originally happened. Now, another funny thing, like I said, it started the Spider-Man War. People always think that this is the first appearance of Venom. It is not. It is the first full Venom story and origin and so on and so forth. This is the first appearance of Venom. This is the first time he's seen on the last page of this book, so that makes it his first appearance, which a lot of people argue, and I was actually discussing this with King Joe, about Wolverine, the same thing, like where Incredible Hulk 181, everyone argues that that's Wolverine's first appearance. It's not. Granted, I've made the mistake too. It's his first full appearance, I guess would be the thing, and origin, like his first full story. His first appearance was 180, and his cameo, I think, was like 179 or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, you get the point. Same thing with this. Venom's cameo was number 298 of Amazing Spider-Man. That's where he pushes Peter Parker onto the train tracks. And then this is his first appearance, like I said, at the end of the book, he's in there. And this is the first full story of Venom. So, lovely Spider-Man War. Lots of fun. Now, what's funny is, another thing that I find very interesting, is this book, first black suit, obviously. It's kind of funny how it works in price lately. Like, Hero 181 was saying he got a good deal, which he did. Got a good deal on it. I've seen this go a year ago. It was going for about $10 in a comic book store, and I didn't buy it because I'm like, you know, there was other things I wanted to get first. I'm like, what the hell? Should have bought it, didn't buy it. And then about 6 months ago, it was, you know, I went up, I think I saw it in another comic store for like $25. But it wasn't in really the best of shape, so I'm like, you know what, I'd rather buy a better copy of it. So again, I passed on it. Now, it's funny, like I said, if you look on eBay, this thing has spiked like no tomorrow. I find it's just funny how I find that some books will lay dormant for so long, and then all of a sudden, there's a craze for them. It's just like everyone goes insane. It's like, oh my god, I have to have the first appearance of Spider-Man's black suit. Oh! And then it skyrockets. I mean, usually it's with movies, you know, like when the Spider-Man 3 came out, everyone was looking for anything Venom. Venom stuff, Jesus, you could have sold this. I actually think it was going for like $1,000 on eBay when the Spider-Man 3 came out. Insane, absolutely insane. And same thing with this thing. Like, I was looking on eBay. There are a few good deals on there. I found a CGC one that was a 9.4 going for about $60, which isn't too bad. And I saw one of these that was in, I guess, very fine condition going for about $10. But that was a bidding thing. So, and there was already bids on it. So, I guarantee it's not going to stick around that price. It's probably going to go through the roof. So that's the lovely Spider-Man thing that I had to get off my chest, because hopefully my friends will stop bugging me and say, that's not the right one, you're wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I know my shit, people. I know my shit. Sometimes I screw up from time to time, and I admit when I screw up, but that time I did not screw up. And Hero Hunter 81, he knows what I'm talking about, because he's right about the 252 being the first appearance of the black suit. That's why when I wrote on your comment, dude, I was saying like it's too hard to comment on about the whole thing. But then, of course, after I was commenting on it, my friends, you know, reading the stuff and sending me stuff like, oh my god, you're wrong. You guys are both wrong. Look it up. Anyway, I'm actually looking forward to King Joe's new video that he's putting up soon, because it's talking about, like I was talking about my last update, where comic book stores just piss me off, and the way they do things. And I talked about this in a lot of updates beforehand, where a mock time basically will go to Target, or they'll go to Walmart and they'll buy all the figures of one particular thing, like say Marvel Universe, and they'll buy them all up, and then they'll turn around and sell in their store for triple the price of what you would normally get it. And then people like me are screwed, because if you can't get to a faraway area, you know, and pick these things up, you know, you're screwed. Unless you buy them on eBay, and then you got to pay shipping and all that crap. I mean, me, I do like eBay, and I do like, you know, the online stuff where you can order stuff. I'm not really knocking it, but at times it does piss me off. But I'd much rather go to the store and look at everything and kind of enjoy myself, rather than just go click, 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 and then wait 3 weeks before it shows up. But that's fun too. I like getting mail, which is kind of cool, because I actually lucked out. I guess, I don't know, maybe there's some kind of glitch with Midtown or what. So I guess I'm not going to really bash them all that much right now, because I went on to the website today, and all the stuff I had originally wanted, like I was saying in a video, that last update, half of it was gone. Before you know, the day was up, it was already, you know, almost gone. I'm like, wow, I can't even order anything. Went on today, because I was going to delete the stuff. I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'll take my chance to see if I can, you know, go to Bailey's and get hooked up. Went to go delete the things on Midtown, and all the stuff was back up, like it was never. Normally it'll say like, this item is out of stock now, you know, add it to your wish list or whatever. But every single item that I wanted from next week was in there in stock. So I told my fiance, I was like, let's click this before it changes again. So she was very cool. She was like, all right, you know, just do it. I don't even want to hear how much it costs. Kitty. But I'm not. I actually got some good deals on some back issues on there too, so it was kind of cool. But I did get a lot of the new stuff that I wanted, so I'm very, very excited. Hopefully it's not another screw up, and they'll send me a message saying, oh no, we don't have any of that stuff. I hope I get it. But so yeah, I can't bash Midtown. Maybe there must have been some kind of glitch because of the power stuff. But I'm hoping it works, and I don't get screwed. But who knows? Anyway. Yeah, that was about it. That's about the update. It's pretty long with the Spider-Man war. I am working on my my other cracka episodes, which will have to deal with Wolverine. That's right. I saved the best for last. I have yet to show my entire Wolverine collection, which is pretty vast. A lot of Wolverines, here and there. I don't know. Like a friend of mine had asked like which character do I have the most of, and it's tough because a lot of people think Batman. They're like, oh, he's got the most Batman comics. I really don't. Probably Batman is the least amount of comics I have of somebody, and everyone's like, oh, but he's your favorite. I'm like, he is he's my favorite DC hero. Yeah, that's true. But I always grew up on Spider-Man, and then I had gotten into Wolverine because Wolverine was, he was the shit back then. Everyone, if you didn't like Wolverine, you were the geek. Even though now that being a geek is cool, back then being a geek was bad. But then within the geek realm, if you weren't a Wolverine fan, you were like shunned. Like, how do you not like Wolverine? He's got knives that pop out of the back of his hands, and all right. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess it would either be X-Men, Wolverine, or Spider-Man, or my top three of books that I have the most of. I would say Spider-Man probably one if you have to go by the amount of comics I have that have Spider-Man in it. But if you go by pure title-wise, it's tough. It's between Wolverine and Spider-Man. Because the X-Men are kind of like a close second. Like, I have a lot of them, but who knows. One thing I actually almost forgot to talk about, because, again, with my friends, we were going over stuff, we were kind of having a good old time, having a chuckle over the comics and talking about the good old days and things like that, which is a lot of fun. It's definitely fun to sit around with friends that know what the hell you're talking about. Because sometimes when I sit down with my fiance and I'm like, oh, that's... She's like, why are you getting 2 copies of the X-Men? I'm like, well, this is a variant. What? It's a variant of this. But it's the same book, right? Yeah, but it's a different cover. Well, why are you getting that? Which used to be my phrase. I'm like, why am I going to buy, But some of the variants, the covers are pretty cool. I can't lie. They're interesting. They still get out of hand with them, but send the other my fiance, well, why are you getting 2 copies of that? Or why are you getting 2 copies of number 1? And a lot of times when I buy, which I've stopped, I used to do it, oh my god, I used to spend so much money on number 1s. I used to buy 2 copies of number 1s when they came out because I would have one to read and then I would have one that I wouldn't touch, that I would just keep to the side, which I really don't do anymore, but sometimes I'll buy multiple copies of something if the other one gets destroyed. But anyway, yeah, I was sitting with my friends and we were discussing the good old days and how crazy it used to be. We used to go against each other, where we try to one-up each other all the time. Like, it's kind of an interesting story. And my friend's like, "Oh, I told you on your show if you want. Go ahead, I don't care. But don't mention me." But anyway, we used to one-up each other because we were the 2 of us were in the comics like there was no tomorrow. Like, it was always like, "Oh, what'd you get? Did you go to this thing?" And he was always so pissed when I got a job at a comic book store because I was like, "That's right, bitch. I can take you out now. I get a discount. I can buy more than you can." But yeah, it was just funny. Like I said, the story, we used to one up each other. Like, he would go out when comics came out. Like, a lot of times, like, I was kind of naive. We were both naive back then. Like, what to really look for, and we'd look at stuff that was just we thought was cool, and in the comic community that we had a very little small group. There was probably about 8 of us that were comic book people, and nobody knew we were comic book people. We were, because, like I said, back then, you get your ass beat, which never really bothered me. You can bring it and all. But anyway, back then, you kind of kept a low profile, and we'd always have like these like I said, everybody would want to do it, but my one friend and I would really go crazy, and he's like, "Oh, dude," he's like, "Guess what I got?" And I'm like, "What'd you get?" He's like, "I found the first appearance of Bishop, bitch." And I'm like, "Really?" And I was like, "Good for you." And I was like, "Guess what I found?" And he's like, "What?" I was like, "I got the first appearance of Gambit." He's like, "You son of a..." Yeah. That's what we used to do. And another one of my friends, which was, he was big into comics, a friend of mine, Paul, who unfortunately I really don't talk to all that much. I do talk to him on Facebook, and we were pretty competitive with the comics too. When I first got this, we found this in a bookstore, an actual, like, a bookstore, which was sometimes I would tell my friend, like, when I found this one bookstore, I was like, you never know when these things, because my mom had said, go, like, when I showed on an update way back when, with the Spider-Man, my first comics that I had originally bought with Venom on the cover, My mother is like, oh, check the bookstore. You never know. Maybe they have it. They're our bookstore. It's a comic book. I'm like, nah, they never have it. And that's where I found that stuff. We were looking everywhere for this. Like, they're like, oh, that'd be really cool to have, the first appearance of Spider-Man's black suit. See, that's how it comes into play. And we had gone to the bookstore, and we were looking, and we're going through, and I'm like, there's no comics here. And then all of a sudden, the owner must have heard us. He was like a really old dude. He's like, I have comics. They're on the bookshelf over there. We ran over there because, again, we were competitive, like who can get the better thing, or the better price, whatever it is. And I'm going through it, and I found this, and I'm like, oh my god, yoinked it out. I'm like, oh my god. I was like, and he got pissed, and I'm like, and I was being, the friend, I was like, here you go, dude. I was like, you can have it, you can get it. And he's like, no. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, no. I was like, go ahead. I was like, you can have it. I'll wait. And how luck would have it is right next to it, and it was funny because the guy had them like this, like in a bag and a board, and you had to kind of go like this to pull them out and take a look. It was weird, but right next to it, where this should have been like another copy, wasn't. It was a couple of copies down. I was looking through it. I'm like, oh my god, another one, and it's this one. So yeah, it's definitely fun back in the day when messing with my friends, like who got what, yeah. And it's good times. And my friend Tony, he actually has the real copy of this, so he beat me on that one. Good for you. Eventually I'll get the real copy. But anyway, this is a long enough update as it is. Nice little trip down memory lane. And I'm going to get back to working on my intro and my episode with Wolverine. Because again, that was actually another fun thing real quick that keep remembering it is with the one-upping of people. I'm sitting there and we all had like Wolverine books, and we all had our comics that we thought were great, which were, and everyone was always like, oh, what do you have in your collection, and blah, 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 blah. And nobody in my little group had the first Wolverine, the limited series. And it was cool because the first convention I ever went to, well, technically it was a convention. It was more like a show, I guess. I was across the street from the Nassau Coliseum. It was a hotel, and my mother had found it in the newspaper. She's like, "Oh, you want to go?" I was like, "Oh, well, I don't really, I would do my chores and stuff like that, and you'd get like, a couple bucks, $3. If I was lucky, I got 5. Sometimes if I really busted my ass in the winter, I got 10 if I shoveled snow and stuff like that. But I had told my father, I think it was like in the summer. And my father's like, oh, you want to go? We can go. I'll spot you some money, but you have to come to work for me, which was crazy. Back in the day, I would sweep stuff up for his construction thing, stupid stuff. But anyway, went to the show, and I was looking around, and like everything was so high priced, like especially back in the day. It was 1990. No, it was later than that. 91, give or take. Give or take. Anyway. Again, I was in the thing. I was looking around. I'm like, and I had $10 that I had saved, kept with me, like pretty much all winter. Again, it was from shoveling snow back when we actually had snow, and that's all I had. And I found this prototype from when the Marvel Comics trading cards came out. It was a Venom hologram prototype and I was looking. I was like, that thing's really cool. And this is before I even knew the Marvel cards had come out, which I told that story before. And I'm looking at it, and it was $10, and I'm like, oh my god. And my father's like, you want to get that? He's like, over a comic, and I'm like, yeah. I was like, it's just really, really cool. I really like it, and it's just something cool. It's a prototype. It's probably going to be worth money. And of course, when my father heard that one, all right, yeah, get it. You never know. And so I bought the thing for $10. And on the back of it, like I said, I'll have to show that another thing. I think I've shown it before. But on the back of it, it says Advanced Comics, prototype Venom hologram card. And, which is probably worth absolutely nothing right now, but what the hell. Back then. And I was walking around, and my father's like, are you done? I'm like, oh, I just want to, look around. And my father had the patience of a tree sometimes, but sometimes when you're walking around and stuff like that, he's like, come on, what are you doing? And my mom was just, happy that I was looking around, taking interest in things, and I see a little stand. The guy had this, And I said, oh my God. And he's like, what? Because I almost shit myself. He's like, what? I'm like, it's the first Wolverine. And he's like, what? And I'm like, look at it. I was like, it's the first Wolverine. And it was $20. And I'm looking at it, and I was just like, and the guy's like, oh, he's like, you like Wolverine? I'm like, yeah. I was like, Wolverine's awesome. And he's like, all right, you can take a look at it. I'm like, I was like, sniffing. Don't breathe too heavy on it. And I was just like, oh my God. I was like, that's really, really cool. And I gave it back to the guy. I was like, that's awesome. My father was like, well, what's so great about that? I was like, oh, it's like it's Wolverine. And my father knew who Wolverine was because I explained to him in detail. Like a couple months beforehand. I'm like, Wolverine's awesome. I'd love to get the first one. And it was just funny how the guy, happened to have it. And he's like, oh, that's the thing you were talking about. I'm like, yeah. I was like, it's worth some money. And also, I was like, it'd be really cool to have it. And he's like, well, why would you want to have it over, everything else? And my father was funny because sometimes he wanted to one-up people too. And I was like, I'd be the first person in my group to actually have the first appearance, not the first appearance, the first Wolverine. And he's like, nobody has this one? He's like, your friends don't have this? I'm like, no. I was like, nobody has this. Like, it's hard to get. I was like, because it's a lot of money. And my father looks at the guy. He's like, well, can you do a better price on that than $20? And the guy was like, yeah. He's looking at it. He's like, $20 is a really good deal. And I was telling my father, I was like, yeah, it's worth a lot more money than $20. Like, and he's like, shh. I had no negotiation skills back then when I was a kid because I was 10 years old. And 10 going on 11. I'm like, whatever. It's $20. But back then, $20 was a lot of money. And my father was like, he's like, I'll tell you what. He's like, can you do 10? And the guy's like, no. He's like, there's no way I'm selling this for $10. And he's like, all right. He's like, would you do 15? So the guy's looking and he's thinking about it. And then my father, of course, like I said, negotiation skills. He's like, would you rather sell me the book for $15 or keep it on your shelf and have to lug it home? And the guy's looking at it. He's like, all right. He's like, how about 17? And my father's looking at it. He's like, he's like 16. So the guy's like, all right, 16. So I got this for $16. My father had bought it for me. And the grin on my face, I couldn't wipe it off because I was just like, I now own the first Wolverine comic. I was like, it's the limited series. Like, I have it. And I remember going home and calling like everybody I knew that was in my little group. I was like, guess what I have? And I was like, what? I was like, I have Wolverine #1. They're like, no way. I was like, a limited series #1. I now own it. And of course, I had to work for my father for like a month to pay off the damn book. But but it was just funny because my friend, when he first came over to take a look, because he thought I was full of shit, and I pulled this out of the box. I'm like, that's right. And he's like, oh my God. And for almost a year in school, that's all people would talk about in my little group was, Rick's got Wolverine #1. I'm like, did you see it? I saw it. Oh my God. Good times. Memory lane, people. Memory lane. Lots of fun. So this is an extremely long update that I didn't want to make for that won't make that long, but what can I tell you? Interesting stories. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the little like button. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. And check out some of the people that I subscribe to that I love their stuff. Hero Hunter 81, Mongo Stomp Time 07, R Downey 95, King Joe, Callie's Collectibles, Batman Comic 87, Fletcher Moore 1, Mr. Dragon of Ice, Why Not Art, Cursive Man, Mr. Fix-It Smash, oh my God, I can't remember everybody, Warzone Spider, Gimpy 204, Dynamic Comic Book Duo, yeah, Hippies Collectibles, just DaCosta DC Comics, just to name a few. I'm missing a dozen people, but my memory's shot. It's because I have to, it's Kitty that does it. It's the dander. Anyway, again, it's not the size of your man cave, it's what you have in it.